So we have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to give you guys a lot of really great information, and I'm going to teach you the science behind why do you do what it is that you do when it comes to dating. There are 2 biochemical responses that you have to be aware of when it comes to attraction. Now, understanding the science of attraction, ma'ams, will help you avoid getting played. It will help you avoid getting hurt. It will help you to attract the love that you want if you can just listen, okay? 2 biochemical processes that you have to mitigate when you are dating. And this controls everything. You have to mitigate him. Triggering his vasopressin as fast as possible, okay? You want to trigger his vasopressin as fast and as long as possible. And you want to slow down producing and triggering your oxytocin for as long as possible. So let's start with you. Why do you want to slow down your oxytocin? Your oxytocin is your bonding hormone. Oxytocin is what's produced when a mommy has a baby. It causes extreme bonding. This is what makes her want to take care of this baby that's crying and pooping and keeping her from sleeping, okay? It's the same thing with a man. With a man's bonding hormone, vasopressin. Understand this, ladies, and I want you to write this down. Men are biologically wired to be monogamous. Do not believe the lies or the hype that a man cannot be faithful, that they're not designed to be faithful, that men are designed, and then they try to use the sperm argument that because he can produce a lot of sperm, then that means that he's not wired. That's a lie, okay? And they've done multiple studies on this. The fact that he produces vasopressin and dopamine shows that men are wired to be monogamous. And there's multiple studies that show that, and I'm going to explain it right now. But your goal is, ma'am, that you want to trigger his vasopressin. And his vasopressin is the hormone that makes him want to commit to you, provide, protect you. He's not going to want to hurt you, ma'am. When he is producing that vasopressin, he's not going to want to cheat on you because it causes his testosterone to drop for any other woman. So he's not going to want another woman. That's the reason why when a man truly biochemically falls in love, his testosterone drops permanently. It drops permanently. You don't believe me? Get the book by Llewellyn Brizendine called The Male Brain, okay? It's a big risk. Men take a big risk when they fall in love. But that's the reason why when a man falls in love, he falls in love harder and longer. And per the science, it takes him longer to get over you. It takes a man longer to get over heartbreak, believe it or not. As much as you're afraid of getting hurt, ma'ams, men are even more afraid. Men are even more scared of getting hurt and getting their heart broken than you are. Because their egos are much, much, much more fragile than ours are. Okay? So you understand that. You're already in the power seat. The problem is that you don't know how powerful you are and you don't know how to use your power at all. Because if you knew how to use your power, all these things that y'all say y'all afraid of, no ma'am. Y'all wouldn't be afraid of that. You would not. Now let's go through this, all right? And I really want you to keep up because I'm going to use science to help you to understand why do you do and should not do the things that you do and shouldn't do when it comes to dating. Remember, your goal is trigger his vasopressin for as fast and long as possible. The reason why you want to trigger it for as fast and long as possible is because he needs to be producing that vasopressin for at minimum 3 months in order for it to give his vasopressin receptors the time in order for them to be produced in the body. So let me go through this slowly, okay? It's not enough when they're on the internet telling you that if you want a man to fall in love with you, then you need to stress him the hell out. No, ma'am. That's the dumbest advice I've ever heard in my life, okay? I really wish people would stop taking my content and just saying it wrong, okay? Because you're getting the science wrong. You're leading people astray. They're getting hoodwinked, and you're causing heartbreak. So listen to the real facts, okay? Stress does not trigger a man to fall in love with you. Causing him, triggering his vasopressin is what causes him to fall in love with you. But that's not enough. He has to produce the vasopressin receptors in order for him to truly be able to fall in love with you long term. So you know how you see some couples where the man and the woman has been married for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and the husband's still super in love with his wife. He's still like brushing her hair. He's still like making her breakfast in bed. Like he's still really, really into her, and they've been together for years. If you want, ladies, to be happy, if long term, then this is what's required. I'm going to give you old school information that's also backed up by science. He needs to love you 3 times more than you love him. He has to, okay? Because even though men are biochemically wired for monogamy, they also have instincts that drive them sexually as well. But when you have triggered the vasopressin and triggered those receptors, the more receptors, the longer that you give him to produce those receptors, then the more vasopressin he can catch. And the more vasopressin that he catches, then the more long-term he wants to commit to you, the more he wants to provide for you, the more he wants to confess to you. If you want that man that's going to want you long-term. Now, here's the deal. Ma'am, how you start is the way you'll finish, okay? Here's the thing that you got to understand when it comes to triggering a man's vasopressin, is that how you start is the way you finish. It matters how you start. So you know how you hear people that says that it doesn't matter if you have sex with a man too soon, or if you have sex with him one night or in a week or whatever. You want to know what happens when you buy a used car off the car lot and you didn't do the Carfax, you don't do none of your due diligence, you don't give yourself enough time to make sure that this is a good purchase. Do you want to know what you are more likely to experience? You are more likely to end up with a lemon. And I know they try to sensationalize it, but behind closed doors, a lot of these people, they be putting each other through hell because they have to figure it out. They be having men who are cheating on them, or men who don't emotionally meet their needs. They have men who aren't into them more than she is into him, okay? You want to be able to have a man who loves you so much he wouldn't think about cheating on you. He wouldn't think about leaving you. He wouldn't think about not wanting to provide for you. He wouldn't think about not wanting to make life easier for you. And in order for you to get that, ma'am, you have to think about the way you start. According to Don Maslar, okay, Don Maslar's book, Men Chase, Women Choose, Don Maslar talks about this phenomenon that you have to have a man produce those vasopressin receptors, and it takes him between 3 to 8 months in order to produce those receptors. If it takes him 3 to 8 months, that means that if you have sex with him before that, then not only do you threaten the chance of him not biochemically bonding to you, because sometimes just because a man's attached to you doesn't mean that he's biochemically bonded to you. Let me say that again. Just because a man is attached to you, ma'am, just because you're attached to somebody does not mean that you are biochemically bonded to somebody. What you want is you want a man who is biochemically bonded to you. That's what you want. Now, if you have sex with him too soon, then you might be attached, but you won't be bonded, biochemically bonded. And the reason why is because you interrupt the vasopressin production, which stops the production of his receptors. So let's just say that you have a jar, okay? You have a potential jar that goes from 0 to 10 on how much a man can be bonded to you. And depending on when you have sex with him determines how much can you fill up this jar. Now, if you smart, if you one of my students, then you're going to play this wisely and you want to fill this jar up to the top before you give him anything. You want to fill the jar up because you're thinking long term, because the way you start is the way you finish. Now, let's say you have sex with him in the first month, okay? And the jar only filled up to here. Let's say that you only got to here. When you have sex with him, that's it, ma'am. He's not producing any more vasopressin receptors for you. This is it. So then you know how you have those couples that been together 10, 15 years and they just miserable? Their man resents her and she resents him. They're sleeping in separate rooms. They have a sexual arrangement. They still there They're there for the kids or whatever conveniences that they have, but they're not in love with each other anymore. That's because the jar from the beginning only got filled up to here. No, ma'am. You want that jar filled up to here. You want it filled up to a level 10. That means you got to do this wisely. You got to understand that there's a science to this attraction thing. You got to understand that there should be a strategy, because what the science shows is that once it's interrupted, then something called the Coolidge effect takes place. So they did a study, right, where they took rats, and it was like a whole bunch of female rats. They introduced one male rat, and the male rat copulated with all the female rats as much as he wanted. So he was getting all the tail that he could stand. Then eventually, he didn't want any of the female rats anymore. They would come, they would stick their booty up in his face, they would want to get some, but the male rat no longer was triggered. His testosterone was no longer triggered to want to have sex with them because he got all that he wanted. He couldn't produce the hormone anymore to be sexually attracted to them. So when you have sex with a man too soon, then you increase the likelihood of the Coolidge effect. That means that his testosterone is no longer able to be triggered by you. You can be the finest woman in the world, okay? Sparks can fly out your vajayjay. Okay, when you walk outside butt naked, it could seem like it's sun shining at nighttime, but it won't matter, because once he's gotten all of your vanilla sunshine, okay, all of your pudding pops, all of your kibbles and bits, ma'am, okay, all of your honey pot, okay, all your crunch and munch, once he's gotten it, okay, then ma'am, nothing you can do is going to make him, the West Indians say your noonie, okay, your noonie, your pocketbook. Okay, once he's gotten it, then he's no longer triggered to want to get it anymore. And so you have couples who are married where their husband is in the Coolidge effect, okay? Where he no longer wants his wife's hot pocket no more. He don't want it, okay? He doesn't want any of her moon pie at all. And she feels rejected. She feels like there's something wrong with her. She thinks it's because of her weight or whatever. But what it is a lot of times man will settle too. This is the thing that I'm really trying to help y'all to understand, y'all. Okay? Getting the man is not the prize. And what really makes my left butt cheek itch really bad is when I'm listening to all of these experts on Beyonce's internet that's trying to help you to catch a man, and it's all about catching a man, and it's all about catching a man who's going to pay your bill, and it's all about catching a man who's going to pay your bill and do for you and do this and do that. But catching a man isn't the prize. That's not the prize. And when you start to realize that catching the man or getting a man isn't the prize, because for those of you who've never attracted a man or been able to attract a relationship, you'll see that it really doesn't matter. It's once you know what to do, that part is easy. The part that takes some know-how is to attract the right man, who is your romantic best friend. A man who's effed up, unfaithful, and wants forever to love your soul. That man who will run through a wall for you. Y'all are settling for the biggest Build-A-Bears that are Build-A-Bearing in your face. And then 3 years, 5 years, when you are unhappy, then you're wondering what happened. What happened is, just like the old folks say, the way you start is the way you finish. You started wrong. Because at the end of the day, ladies, you hold the purse. Literally and figuratively. Or men who don't pay attention to them. You will always hold the purse. You will always hold the power. So your goal is, again, trigger his vasopressin as fast and for as long as possible. How do you do that?